Check this. Check. Tes satu dua. Cek.
When you try your best but you don't succeed. When you get what you want but not what you need. When you feel so tired but you can't sleep. Stuck in reverse. And the tears come streaming down your face. When you lose something you can't replace. When you love someone but it goes to
Bapak Ibu, kita akan segera memulai kegiatan pada hari ini. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Excellencies, honorable speaker, and ladies and gentlemen. Good morning and welcome for international guest lecture and workshop publishing in Scopus-Indexed and Reputable Journal Insight from Professor Ichol Kim from Inha University Korea and also UMBY faculty. My name is Azam and I feel honored to partake in this event as the master of ceremony. First and foremost, I would like to express my gratitude towards God Almighty for letting us gather here today. Well, before I will start our event today, I would like to welcome to honorable, respectable keynote speaker today, Professor Ichol Kim from Inha University, South of Korea, and honorable audience of Universitas Mercu Buana Yogyakarta, Head of Research and Community Service Institute, or representative, Head of Cooperation, Public Relations and Protocol Bureau, or representative, all speakers representative from all UMBY faculties, the Head of Global Engagement Office, Mr. Daniel Ari Widyatama, SPD M.Hum, all participants from lecture of UMBY, and all the committee team today. So before we start our agenda today, please pray begin. Finish. So let's continue this event with greetings from the Head of Research and Community Service Institute of UMBY, or representative from Dr. Yuli Perwitasari, STP. This text is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace and blessing be upon for us. First, let us our gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for His blessing that take love to gather in here for this special event. Today, I would like to. Today, I'm as a representative of Luki Kurniawan from Institute of Research and Community Service. Truly honored to deliver this opening remarks in this occasion. This event is a manifestation of university commitment to enhancing the quantity and the quality of scientific publication. We believe that scientific publication is a crucial indicator for progress in science, and we sincerely appreciate Prof. Ichol Kim for his presence and for sharing his valuable insight in academic publishing. This session provide great benefit to all of us, especially in increasing both the quantity and the quality of publication from Universitas Mercu Buana Yogyakarta. Lastly, I would like to extend my gratitude to the organizing committee, especially for cooperation division, for their hard work to organize this event. May this event run smoothly and contribute to the advancement of our academic and research endeavor. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, please give applause for Dr. Yuli Perwitasari, STP, as the representative from Research and Community Service Institute of UMBY. Well, we're moving right to the next agenda is opening speech from Global Engagement Office, Mr. Daniel Ari Widyatama, SPDM Home. The stage is yours, sir.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, respectable guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Professor Vishal Kim. Apa kabar Bapak Ibu? Baik, oke. Sudah sarapan nggih? Okay, so thank you very much for attending this a special event. Because today we have a special guest, our beloved professor from Inha University, Korea. First of all, I would like to extend our gratitude to all lecturers who have joined this event today, especially to Honorable Professor Alimatus Sahrah. Selamat pagi, Prof. Alin. Terima kasih sudah berkenan hadir. Profesor Dwiyati, selamat pagi Ibu. Oke. Kemudian Bapak Ibu Dekan, to those deans and vice dean who attended this event. I see Pak Mut, Pak Wahyu. Selamat pagi Bapak. And also the head of study program that represent the department in UMBY, and also all the respected speakers who will share the strategies in publishing article in Scopus-Indexed journal. And I'm feeling honored to welcome Professor Vishal Kim from Inha University. For your information, he is actually the founder and still as the president, Professor, yeah, the president of Asian Association of Social Psychology, especially in the Asian Association of Indigenous and Cultural Psychology. And also the founder and editor of the Asian Journal of Social Psychology. So let's give applause to Professor Vishal Kim. So later, Mr. Azam, our MC, will extend more information about him because he has published hundreds of articles in high reputable journal and also books as well. You can even find his profile in Google. He has a lot of information about the books that he has published. And this event is also part of the implementation of our MOU between Faculty of Psychology with Association of Social Psychology, the Asian Association of Indigenous and Cultural Psychology. So please give applause to Fakultas Psikologi, Bapak Ibu. Bu Reni is currently having another agenda in UGM, but later she will be present as well here. And this event is also very crucial for us. We would like to learn from Prof. Kim and also from today's speakers, especially for us who would like to publish our article in Scopus-Indexed journal, as we also are grateful to have Miss Yuli and LPPM, Pak Luki. Beri tepuk tangan juga untuk LPPM kita, Bapak Ibu. Ibu Yuli, who has supported this program, and hopefully this will motivate and support us in publishing more publications. And lastly, we hope that this will be successful, and later in this afternoon, Prof. Kim will also share his knowledge to Faculty of Psychology, especially with Magister program until evening, I guess. So once again, during your busy time, busy schedule in Indonesia, because yesterday Prof. Kim was in UEE, he just told me this morning. I know that this is not easy for you to fly to Indonesia and have so many agenda here, but still you managed to come here. So on behalf of Director of UMBY, Dr. Agus Namat STPMP, the Vice Rector of Academic Affairs and also Human Resources, and also Mr. Widarta as the Head of Partnership and also Public Relations Bureau, we are thankful for welcoming you to Campus 3, Campus 3, and also to all lecturers who have managed to come this morning. So once again, thank you very much, and let's have and enjoy this moment together. Thank you so much. Dan terima kasih Bapak Ibu yang sudah hadir di Zoom, because we are now also having a live stream program to Zoom. So there will be more questions and also attendees from Zoom, Professor. Thank you so much, Mr. MC.
Okay, give applause to Mr. Daniel for his opening speech from Global Engagement Office. Ladies and gentlemen, before we going to our main agenda, we have to take some photos together first. So I would like to invite all audience to come here to take a photo before we start our discussion today. So please stand up and come here. Mbak, ini dipindahin dulu nggak? Baik, Bapak Ibu yang di Zoom bisa mengaktifkan kameranya juga. Kita akan berfoto bersama terlebih dahulu, karena siapa tahu nanti ada yang mengajar dan sebagainya, jadi mumpung masih full team. Oke, Mas Suma nanti backgroundnya juga ditampilin ya, setelah ini aja nggak apa. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Change the styles. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to the main agenda today, international guest lecture and workshop in Scopus-Indexed and Reputable journals. Before we going to our keynote speaker, we have some lectures will be a presentation about their publication or their research from their faculty. So we have six presentation lecture presentation. First from economy faculty, and second from agro-industry faculty, and three from information technology faculty, and the other uh, next will be the other uh, lecture. So without any further ado, we invite for economy faculty, Dr. Diana Aryawati, SAMI. Okay, give applause to Dr. Diana. Dr. Diana
Thank you so much.
is from economy faculty,
Yeah.
especially from accounting program study.
Thank you so much to invite me to come here and to share my experiences in writing for Scopus Journal Index. I think it's honorable for our guest lecture and for all the dean and all the lecture. I'm so surprised because I'm the first the first presenter and I'm late for the information. I hope that my experience that I can share today will be valuable for the lecture from Mercubuana, and I want to share my laptop. Maybe someone can help me because it's Mac. So this is a little one. Oh, no, it's not in my Scopus.com. I have this.
This cheek.
Okay, before my laptop can ready, I will start with the first tips to submit an article to journal Scopus-Indexed. Maybe there are many lecturers here that have many experience more than me. I just have 3 Scopus, but I think it's I still very few if compared with another lecturer. But I try to share my experiences. Okay, for the first time, maybe we can about. We must think about the title first, and then it must interest title, and then novelty. It is the key point that we must have novelty in our article, and then we must use good in English, but because we not a native English speaker, we must. We only focus in our research article in Indonesian language, and we can hire proofreading. Okay, proofreading. We must. We need proofreader to correct our English, because in Scopus Journal Index, they don't want see typo in our article. One typo that the reviewer meets in our article, they usually reject, or we need a very long time to correct our article. In my experience, I have ever submit, and there are many revision that I need to do in my article. It's maybe about 5 times, and then we need to be patient and carefully, because many reviewer there. In our article, maybe about 3 or 5 reviewer, and every reviewer have correction, and we need to be patient on the revision. To correct the revision for reviewer. And then about the citation. Yeah, citation. I want to share about citation actually, because in the Scopus.com, maybe we have a Scopus ID, and then we open the Scopus.com, and there are a facility from Scopus.com that AI, new menu, AI, like this. Oh no. Sorry, I cannot. Like this. This is Scopus AI. From this facility, we can type what we want to write, like what our topic that we interest, and we type there. And then Scopus AI can help us make like this, like summary and introduction, and the short version of our topic, and then we can develop it by ourselves. Yeah, like like this. I tried to write about tax carbon in Indonesia. This is that in process that I want to do research with Malaysia researchers, and then I tried to find information from Scopus.com, and they give us many references from Scopus article. This is make us more easier to find a related article, and then it's directly from Scopus. So then another tips that we can use, this website, this Scopus.com, can connect with Zotero application. Zotero application or Mendeley or another citation application, and then we can connect this article that we find here and then to our Zotero. And when we write in words, Microsoft Words, we can cite easily to our article. I hope what I explained today is meaningful for for the audience, because I'm a newcomer. I mean, I'm the new one. I only have 3 Scopus. Maybe another lecturer have more than me. And then this is my tips. One of my tips, and then novel title and no typo. And then the last one is about FPC cost, because it's very expensive for us, maybe for me, for about 10 million for Scopus Q4. It's average, yeah, on average. And for Scopus Q quarter 3 up to 1 quarter, it's about 20 up to 30 million, juta, 20 sampai 30 juta. And it's very expensive. But there is some journal that free of cost of FEG, but it takes too long time for us to wait. It's about 1 year maybe or more. And then if we have a deadline, we cannot rely on that free cost of FPG journal. Yeah, we must. How to overcome that? To overcome the FPG cost, maybe we need to collaborate with another researcher, or we look for grants from our institution, for example, or another institution, or dictee, like that, something like that. And my experience, I collaborate with another researcher from other university. Sometimes they have grants from their institution or another institution, and we collaborate in the research, and we can get a Scopus. Maybe that's enough, because I only have 10 minutes. Maybe there is any question for me? Or another? Okay, Mas.
Baik, thank you Dr. Diana. Bapak Ibu, saya translatekan secara singkat. Jadi apa yang disampaikan Dr. Diana terkait kiat-kiat dalam menulis jurnal Scopus-Indexed, di mana beberapanya seperti cara-caranya, yaitu pasti harus full English, harus bahasa Inggris, dan itu tidak ada typo dan sebagainya. Jadi writing structure-nya harus benar-benar correct, harus benar-benar benar, sehingga bisa di-approve oleh para reviewer. Lalu beliau juga menyampaikan terkait penggunaan AI Scopus. Jadi AI ini atau teknologi pada dasarnya itu sangat-sangat helpful untuk membantu kita dalam menulis jurnal yang bereputasi Scopus-Indexed tersebut. Selain itu juga collaboration with another lecture, another instansi. Bu Diana juga saat ini sedang menulis Scopus juga dengan kolaborasi dengan Malaysia ya kemarin Bu ya, dengan salah satu universitas di Malaysia, sehingga ini sangat membantu untuk mendapatkan jurnal berindeks Scopus itu. Selain itu juga dana, APC dana ya Bu ya. Jadi karena jurnal ini bereputasi internasional, dan tentu ada beberapa dana yang memang sangat besar, sehingga Bu Diana menyarankan untuk bisa berkolaborasi apabila dana penelitian dari Bapak Ibu masih dirasa minim dan sebagainya. Kurang lebih itu yang disampaikan oleh Dr. Diana terkait kiat-kiat dari how she write or she publish Scopus journal. So, Bapak Ibu, apakah ada pertanyaan untuk Dr. Diana? Any question? Maybe atau ada saran mungkin untuk Dr. Diana? Maybe Prof. Kim, any question or any advice from Dr. Diana? Okay, maybe at the end. Okay. Cukup Bapak Ibu? Oke. Kate.
Thank you very much for the time. I hope this is meaningful for audience here. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Diana, for your presentation about your experience to publish Scopus Journal. So we move to another presenter from Agro-Industry Faculty, Professor Dwi Yati Puji Mulyani MP will be as a presenter from Agro-Industry Faculty. So for Professor Dwi Yati Puji Mulyani MP, the text is your Prof. Give applause to Professor Dwi.
Terima kasih atas waktunya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, Prof. Wikos Kim from Korea, dan selamat pagi teman-teman semua. Minta maaf ini pakai bahasa baku Indonesia. Ya. Baik, kemarin Bu Dekan menugasi saya untuk cerita bagaimana pengalaman untuk nulis di Scopus atau bisa mencapai Scopus, sehingga saya mau coba cerita. Kepotong nggak ya itu? Agak kepotong ya? Ya nggak apa-apa. Mungkin yang pertama dulu. 10 menit ya Mas, nanti di info ya. Bakul jamu nek kedawan. Iya, baik. Jadi saya ditugasi katanya karena Scopus saya agak tinggi gitu, dan kemarin saya coba terus buka-buka Scopus, dan 6 sebetulnya kecil dibanding yang lain, tetapi semua saya syukuri karena bahasa baku di rumah saya bahasa Jawa, sudah bisa publikasi Scopus, sudah alhamdulillah gitu. Lanjut Mas. Ya, intinya penelitian kita yang semakin mengerucut, semakin fokus, semakin dalam, itu ternyata kalau kita publikasi bisa tembus ke Scopus, karena mungkin track record awal itu penelitiannya ringan, tapi lama-kelamaan kalau mengerucut itu agak detail. Jadi yang dibahas lumayan detail atau jauh itu, sehingga ternyata dari pengalaman saya bisa tembus Scopus. Intinya saya penelitian empon-empon dari dana dosen muda, fundamental riset, hibah bersaing, kemudian yang terakhir itu katalis yang 3 tahun ini tapi baru 1 tahun, mudah-mudahan tahun kedua nanti bisa lolos. Nah, tentunya pemilihan topik di sini tergantung dari ilmunya masing-masing. Kebetulan kami dari food teknologi sehingga saya penelitiannya juga ke arah pangan. Kemudian kolaborasi seperti Bu Diana tadi sampaikan itu juga penting. Jadi kalau kita hanya sendiri terus pastinya publikasinya sedikit, tapi kalau kadang diajak teman, kadang ngajak teman, itu lama-kelamaan kita akan tambah publikasinya. Dan tadi penelitian semakin mengerucut, pemilihan jurnal yang relevan memang sekarang ada apa ya, gitu ya, jadi lebih mudah, tetapi saya kecenderungannya yang saya sitir di dalam artikelku itu yang jurnal apa toh lah, di situ saya tirun, misalnya saya coba tembusi gitu, maksudnya kalau menyitir food science atau food research itu ternyata di situ misalnya Q3, Q2 atau Q1 itu juga cara yang apa ya, bodoh sebetulnya. Itu bisa, cara itu bisa tidak keliru yang abal-abal, karena kalau kita hanya melihat email kita setiap hari ada tawaran 2 hari, publish 2 hari, online 2 hari, accepted, itu malah kadang-kadang tidak apa ya, tidak meyakinkan, jadi tidak bisa digunakan untuk naik pangkat misalnya. Kemudian paper kita koreksi, dikoreksi sendiri, dibaca sendiri, mungkin berkali-kali, kemudian timnya juga ikut membaca sehingga ada masukan. Sebetulnya ya tinggal kemauan kita tentang Scopus ini. Kemudian menindaklanjuti proses review dengan cermat dan tidak melebihi batas waktu. Kalau kita itu sudah direview atau disubmit, direview harus diamati betul kapan batas akhirnya. Karena lewat 1 hari dari batas akhir sudah ke reject gitu. Kalau di Indonesia kebetulan kemarin saya nggak buka, misalnya agrointek itu di OJS-nya harus selalu kita buka kalau kita submit. Pikirku sudah accepted, tinggal publish. Ternyata ada info bahwa suruh ngeklik ini untuk lanjut mau dibuat proof gitu. Lah saya nggak tahu, nggak buka. Terus di email dikasih waktu 1 atau 2 hari, saya kelupaan. Terus saya mau masukkan no submission. Tetapi karena chief editornya teman saya, jadi itu bisa. Jadi Bu, maaf Bu, karena sudah tua, ini saya lupa. Sebentar, sing diklik iki, terus dibuka lagi, itu sih bejo. Tapi kalau kita nggak kenal ya wes ke reject. Yang kita sudah nunggu mungkin 1 tahun, 1,5 tahun, harus submit kembali di jurnal yang lain misalnya. Lanjut, iya. Mengatasi masalah terkait publikasi ini memang terus-menerus yang kita submit itu kita pantau di OJS-nya. Jadi kadang kita tidak di email, tidak ditembusi pakai email, tapi harus lewat OJS yang ada itu harus kita pantau. Kalau ini ada yang harus dikoreksi, harus direvisi sampai tanggal ini misalnya, seperti itu. Kalau kita enggak jadi gitu. Kemudian manajemen waktu, saya kira rekan-rekan sekalian ya udah bisa membagi waktu, walaupun seperti psikologi saya bayangkan mahasiswanya banyak, mesti ngajari ya banyak, itu harus pinter-pinter bagi waktu, ada waktu yang digunakan untuk prepare dari artikel gitu. Butuh waktu, butuh fokus gitu. Nah, ini ide segera ditulis dan submit. Ini pengalaman terakhir yang kemarin ini, saya mencoba masuk ke jurnal etnik, itu dicek, ternyata di tanggal 21 Februari itu sudah ada orang nulis jamu. Jadi kalau novelty yang kita kita coba submitkan itu sudah keduluan orang lain, sebetulnya sudah berhari-hari. Saya menulis jamu etnik Indonesia atau sebetulnya, tetapi ternyata nggak diterima karena sudah ada yang memasukkan lebih dulu. Jadi bagus kalau ada ide tulis ngelakon ini itu memang waktunya butuh waktu, butuh meluang fokus menulis gitu. Menjalin kerjasama tadi, kolaborasi, selalu berjuang, tekun, pantang menyerah. Nah ini nek menurut saya nggak sombong, sing tak cekeli ya iki. Nek pinternya saya, walaupun saya profesor pertama UMBI, tapi nek pinternya ora patek pinter gitu aja. Bukan merendah, nyata nih gitu ya. Ora patek pinter tapi ketekunan, kesungguhan itu ternyata penting. Jadi saya juga nggak ngira jadi profesor gitu ya, karena tukang ngangon bebek. Kok mengalir sampai dan bisa juga Scopus ini karena menurutku berjuang. Jadi di reject itu mentalku sudah enggak down lagi. Biasa gitu, nanti betul lagi, revisi lagi, submit lagi. Jadi sudah beleng aja kalau di reject. Ora sedih, aduh, terus wegah, enggak. Kita harus tetap berjuang, pantang menyerah. Ikhtiar dan doa enggak usah dijelaskan gitu ya. Ya, ini slide terakhir karena 10 menit gitu ya Mas ya. Saya ada 10 Mbak Diana, mungkin saya jauh lebih tua, sudah kepala 6. Jadi layak kalau ada 10, kalau Mbak Diana masih muda, tadi ada 4 itu sudah luar biasa. Mungkin yang lain juga luar biasa. Saya bisa tembus yang International Food Research Journal Malaysia itu dibantu promotor. Jadi saat S3 saya ini, jadi bukan saya merendah, dan Dewangi kok, Dewangi ngoreksi, Dewangi. Jurnal itulah yang bisa mengantarkan saya guru besar di tahun 2013. Dulu masih boleh penelitian S3 untuk profesor. Setelah SK saya turun sudah berubah aturannya. Jadi syarat khusus profesor harus penelitian setelah jadi doktor. Jadi bukan saat menjadi doktor. Jadi profesor bernasib baik gitu ya. Kemudian tantangan di IFRJ, kemudian nantang diri sendiri, bisa enggak? Saya masih nantang, saya bisa enggak ya food semestre, itu di reject. Jadi impact faktornya 0,7 atau berapa, tapi selalu di reject, belum tembus sampai 60 tahun ini. Tapi enggak apa-apa. Jadi kami yang Q1 ada 2, kemudian yang toksikologi repot itu juga Q1 waktu saya masukkan, tetapi ternyata sekarang turun jadi Q2. Menurutku itu ya enggak masalah gitu, dan alhamdulillah saya sudah tidak bisa naik pangkat lagi. Jadi ini untuk berkarya, kegiatan berkarya sebagai guru besar, tapi tidak untuk naik pangkat. Jadi ada ini dikemukakan indeks Scopus 6. Mungkin itu saja, mudah-mudahan bisa menyemangati Bapak Ibu yang masih muda gitu ya, dan ada manfaatnya. Yang tadi paling tidak menyemangatinya adalah monggo tekun, pantang menyerah gitu ya. Nek apa-apa terus aku ora ketompo gitu, nanti enggak jadi masuk Scopus gitu. Jadi mari kita tetap semangat, walaupun saya kepala 6 aja masih semangat, apalagi yang muda gitu ya. Demikian, kalau ada kurangnya mohon dimaafkan. Saya akhiri, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you so much for Professor Dwiyati Puji Mulyani MP for your presentation about your experience to publish Scopus-Indexed. So she has a 10 of Scopus-Indexed journal. So maybe in the last, if anyone has a question for Professor Dwi, please ask. And also for the audience in Zoom, when you have to have some question, please write in the chat box. So we're moving to the next presenter from Information Technology Faculty, Dr. Putri Takwa ST, MT, MCE, MCF. The stage is yours. Give applause to Dr. Putri.
Thank you, Sir Azhar. Okay, everyone. I'm truly honorable to be here today, part of this international guest lecture and workshop publishing Scopus-Indexed and Reputable journal. First, I would like to thank the organizers to invite me to share insight academic publishing. A special greeting to Prof. Kim in her University Korea, whose expertise and contribution to academic community and truly inspiring. And let's begin sharing session. Okay, next slide. Okay, the first, publishing in international journal is key to academic success and global impact. Today I will explore essential strategy choosing the right topic of the selected reputable journal. Next slide. Okay. Motivation. The first rating of the international journal is not about fulfilling academic requirement, but also about contribute to knowledge, recognition, and enhancing your academic career. Sebelumnya, Mas. Okay. And there are many reasons, motivation researcher and student I'm to publish national journal. And the first, crucial to position promotion. And second, in many university fulfill the requirement to graduate from master or doctor studies. And third, institution or government often provide incentive or reward for researcher publish high quality journal. And motivation, finally, publishing consistent, improve your research profile and writing skill, increasing your visibility the academic community. Jadi pertama, kalau dalam menulis suatu jurnal internasional, biasanya mereka itu memiliki motivasi, dan motivasi yang pertama adalah terkait dengan promosi di suatu instansi. Yang berikutnya adalah karena kebutuhan untuk graduate from master or doctor study. And then motivasi berikutnya adalah karena akan diberikan get incentive or reward. And yang terakhir itu motivasi dalam menulis jurnal internasional adalah dengan menambah track record dan menambah kompetensi di bidang akademik. Okay, next slide. To write the high quality research paper, you need strong research topic, yeah, and clear writing strategy. Can be start finding trending and impactful research topic you can use like Google Scholar, DOAG, and then searching the last topic, the famous well-known journal Q1 and Q2, and then click Scopus, HTTPS, Scopus and source, and then fulfill subject area and choose quartile and journal. avoid audit subject. Make sure your research is novel and just repetition and past study. Follow, and you can follow the IMRAT structure, introduction, method, result, and discussion, and then you clear academic language and that aligned with journal guidelines. Jadi gunakan struktur IMRAT yang terdiri dari introduction, method, result, and discussion, and setelah itu kalian gunakan bahasa Inggris sesuai dengan guidelines yang sudah disediakan di jurnal tersebut. And then last, manage reference with tool like Mendeley or Zotero. Jadi gunakan reference manager seperti Mendeley dan Zotero. And next slide. Quality research publication. You can choosing the right journal is key step in the publication process. Make sure the journal scope and impact factor match your research area. Be careful predatory journal. These are journal the charge publication fee, but to do not provide proper peer review. Always verify journal with DOAG and SGR. Ya. Jadi dalam memilih suatu jurnal kalian bisa mencari di Scopus, Springer, Nature, Oxford, Wiley, dan yang lain-lain yang dipastikan tidak merupakan predatory journal. Pastikan juga DOAG and SGR-nya. And then, okay, the journal impact factor metric. Journal impact factor metric ini help you evaluate and quality reputation a journal. That impact factor atau IF measure how frequently article in the journal are cited. Jadi kalau di impact factor itu dilihat dari banyaknya yang disitasi, and then as an IP search normalized impact per paper, ini adjust for difference across researcher field. And then SGR Simago Journal Ranking, ranking journal based on citation prestige. And then GTI, Journal Citation Indicator, and site score are also important for assessing journal quality. By understanding the metric, you can select best journal for your research. Jadi kalau mau memilih jurnal juga pastikan impact factornya, JCI-nya, site score-nya atau Simago journal rankingnya atau SGR-nya. Biasanya pada umumnya melihat di SGR-nya dan impact factor-nya. And then choosing the right journal, selected the high quality international journal required careful consideration. Look at impact factor indexing, impact factor and then indexing, and then relevant of your journal, your research. Check the journal list, trusted database like Scopus, Web Science, and DOAG. Avoid predatory journal can promise quick publication without peer review. Ya, jadi pastikan tidak masuk di dalam bilis jurnal yang predator. Jadi can be fulfill this journal and search apakah masuk ke predatory atau tidak. Next slide. Next slide, increasing article visibility. Once your article is published, you need to promote to increase visibility and citation. Upload it academic repository such as Google Scholar, ResearchGate. Share it on academic social network like LinkedIn, Twitter, or D. and then use strategy keyword to enhance searchability and make your article easier to find. The more visibility your article is, the greater the chance of it being side of having wider impact. And conclusionnya, kesimpulannya, in summary, a strong research paper in based on choosing the right topic, writing high quality and effective publication strategy, a semantic approach significantly increasing in chance and acceptance in the high quality journal. Oke, yang terakhir, publishing is reputable journal is not just about share knowledge, but also about contribute to the global academic community. Jadi intinya penelitian yang baik itu penelitian yang dapat memberikan kontribusi secara global baik di akademi atau di komunitas. Dan penelitian yang baik adalah penelitian yang selesai. Oke, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Putri. It's a very interesting presentation, and the last statement is penelitian yang baik adalah penelitian yang selesai. Itu yang saya terapkan, Bu, ketika saya skripsi. Skripsi yang baik adalah skripsi yang selesai. Jadi saya cuma 2 bulan, 3 bulan sudah selesai skripsinya. Thank you so much, Dr. Putri. So again, for all audience, if you have any question, also in the audience in Zoom, just ask or write in the chat box, or maybe Bapak Ibu yang punya pertanyaan di sini, silahkan nanti bisa bertanya di akhir sesi atau setelah Prof. Wichal Kim menjelaskan materinya. So next, the presenter from Communication Science and Multimedia Faculty for Dr. M. Nastain, SOSI, MECOM, CICS. The time is yours.
Baik, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi teman-teman semua. Good morning Prof. Kim. Dan karena ini forumnya forum Indonesia, jadi dan hanya Prof. Kim yang Korea nanti akan dibantu translate oleh Mr. Daniel, ya kan? Daripada saya berbicara bahasa Inggris dan teman-teman nggak paham, saya pun juga nggak paham. Baik, oke, saya singkat saja untuk waktu 10 menit ini. Saya akan sedikit bercerita di luar konteks yang sudah disampaikan oleh teman-teman yang di awal berkaitan dengan apa itu Scopus dan lain sebagainya. Saya akan hanya fokus dengan apa yang saya ketahui berkait dengan bagaimana menulis paper untuk indexing Scopus atau jurnal internasional bereputasi. Baik, untuk yang pertama kita harus memastikan terlebih dahulu Bapak Ibu bahwa tema atau main idea ataupun topik yang kita angkat itu harus memenuhi unsur yang disebut dengan CCTIS, yaitu apa? Next Mas ya. Siapa? Yang next. Oke. Udah. Oke, nggak usah ini Mas. Ini sudah dijelaskan tadi di depan. Di yang kedua saja, bahwa harus mengandung. Oh ini kepotong ya. Dia sebenarnya ada C-nya. Judul artikel itu minimal mengandung salah satu dari 5 unsur, yaitu yang pertama adalah adanya kontroversi. Jadi memastikan bahwa judul yang kita angkat menjadi topik utama, kalau dia tidak ada kontroversi di sana, maka harus mengambil pilihan yang kedua, yaitu change, adanya sebuah perubahan. Ya, ada perubahan apa yang kita tawarkan dalam sebuah artikel yang kita tulis. Kalau tidak ada kontroversi, misalkan kontroversi yang ditulis soal distopia politik misalkan, karena saya dosen politik. Distopia politik di Indonesia, pemerintah mencitrakan dirinya sebagai orang yang sangat pro rakyat, tapi kebijakannya sesungguhnya adalah menciptakan masyarakat yang distopia. distopia, itu kontroversi. Kalau tidak bisa, maka kita cari perubahan apa yang akan kita tulis. Kita tawarkan dalam artikel kita. Kalau tidak ada ngehits, maka kemarin, hari ini kalau Bapak Ibu nulis tentang COVID, saya pastikan itu tidak akan pernah terbit, ataupun kalau terbit sulit sekali. Karena sudah tidak jadi tren. Tapi kalau Bapak Ibu ketika COVID itu outbreak, merebak, dan langsung ditulis, bisa jadi 1-2 bulan sudah accepted. Karena tren. Ya. Kemudian yang ketiga, lihat sisi kalau tidak ada ketiganya, carilah emergency. Sesuatu yang sifatnya darurat di sana. Soal kalau di saya misalkan, darurat demokrasi di Indonesia. Ya. Kemudian yang terakhir, kita menawarkan solution. Kalau tidak ada 5 itu, potensinya kecil untuk bisa diterima di jurnal Scopus. Kemudian yang kedua, kita perlu memastikan Bapak Ibu bahwa artikel itu kalau saya belajar di IAS, Irwan Abdullah School, saya diajari untuk one day one paragraph. Ya, jadi artikel itu akan selesai dalam 1 bulan. Kenapa? Karena di breakdown, artikel itu terdiri dari 33 paragraf. Ya, pertama, introduction itu selalu terisi 4 paragraf saja. Jadi kalau Bapak Ibu masih ada yang berlebihan, ya, misalkan lebih dari 4 paragraf, maka itu berlebihan. 4 paragraf itu, paragraf pertama itu isinya pasti fakta sosial. Jadi apa yang kita angkat di sana? Ya, fakta sosialnya apa? Kemudian kalau sudah ada fakta sosial harus dikuatkan dengan fakta literatur di paragraf kedua. Setelah itu di paragraf ketiga kita harus mengemukakan tujuan dari artikel tersebut, dan yang ketiga, keempat, paragraf keempat diselesaikan dengan hipotesa. Jadi apa yang kita tawarkan ya dari tujuan-tujuan itu dan bagaimana solusinya, itu ada bab 4. Kemudian di bagian literatur review itu ada 6 paragraf. Di bagian metode 5 paragraf, result 9 paragraf, discussion 5 paragraf, konklusi 3 paragraf. Semuanya 33 paragraf dan setiap hari cukup one day one paragraf. Ya. Kenapa bisa? Karena semua paragrafnya sudah ada temanya. Hari ini saya ingin menulis fakta sosial. Besok saya menulis fakta literatur. Besok lagi saya menulis, dan itu saya praktekkan. Alhamdulillah hari ini saya dan teman-teman, tidak saya sendiri, saya memiliki 8 dokumen Scopus. Walaupun tidak semuanya nama pertama, gitu ya. Nah, kemudian untuk selanjutnya yang sering menjadi persoalan adalah Bapak Ibu adalah ketika kita bagaimana menulis paragrafnya. Ini kan yang sering terjadi kesulitan. Bagaimana menulis paragraf? Karena paragraf yang baik itu ada rumusnya, yaitu PREC atau PREC. Ya, paragraf itu harus selalu dimulai dari poin. Ya, apa yang ingin kita bahas, apa yang ingin kita tulis. Jadi kalimat utama dalam paragraf itu harus main ideanya, tema utamanya. Setelah itu, kalimat kedua itu adalah reason. Alasannya apa? Ketika kita menulis topik utamanya, maka harus ada reasonnya. Itu 1 kalimat. Reason membutuhkan evidence. Evidence itu 2-3 evidence, 3 kalimat. Lalu ditutup dengan conclusion. Jadi paragraf itu harus sudah memuat unsur itu. Maka dengan kategori itu kita bisa menulis paragraf itu single paragraph every day. Ya, karena kita sudah tahu yang kita tulis dan harus memenuhi unsur PREC tadi. Ya, point, reason, evidence, and conclusion. Jadi ada 4, dan poin 1 kalimat, reason 1 kalimat atau 2 kalimat, evidence 3 kalimat, conclusion 1 kalimat, dan itu sudah selesai. Nah, kemudian Bapak Ibu ada salah satu trik ya yang paling simple sebenarnya. Misalkan salah satu kendala yang paling sering ditemui oleh teman-teman ketika menulis itu adalah introduction. Result, apalagi teman-teman beres, karena data sih ada. Tapi bagaimana menulis introduction? Strong introduction itu harus dimulai dari repeat judul pada paragraf pertama. Ketika saya menulis judul saya adalah distopia politik, anomali pemerintah Indonesia, maka kalimat pertama yang harus kita tulis itu adalah distopia politik, anomali pemerintahan Indonesia dalam 1 dasawarsa terakhir menunjukkan posisi yang sangat berbahaya. Maka akan ada korelasi antara title dengan the first paragraph. Dan itu akan menunjukkan strong introduction. Seringkali kita ketika menulis, kita berbahasa basi di bagian awal. Dan itu, mohon maaf, bayangkan kalau chief editor harus mensortir 100 artikel dan kalian bahasa basi di introduction. Kita bahasa basi di introduction. Pasti sudah langsung ditolak. Ya, maka butuh strong introduction. Dan cukup 4 paragraf tadi. Dan itu PRS. Ya. Dari judul itu, title itu harus memuat minimal 3 hal. Ada objek formal, objek material, dan keterangan. Sehingga dari 3 hal ini akan menjadi keyword. Ya, misalkan kalau saya tadi distopia politik pemerintahan Indonesia, maka keywordnya adalah 1 distopia, 2 politik, ketiga anomali misalkan. Dan 3 ini sudah bisa menjadi literatur review. Tinggal keyword ini diturunkan menjadi literatur review, masing-masing 2 paragraf, enough, selesai literatur review. Ya, sehingga literatur review pasti terkorelasi langsung dengan title. Title terkorelasi langsung dengan introduction dan seterusnya. Ya, nah tinggallah kita memberikan result and discussion. Maka Bapak Ibu, kalau di kami saya diajarkan bahwa itu setelah kita menemukan title, kemudian menemukan title keyword, ya, kali ditulis itu adalah result and discussion. Ya. Kalau kita masih menulisnya dari introduction, itu biasanya habis energi. Maka luangkanlah energi terbaik kita untuk menuliskan sesuatu yang paling krusial dalam artikel itu, yaitu result and discussion. Ya, ketika energi kita masih 100%, gunakan untuk menulis result. Karena inti dari riset artikel kita itu ada di hasil dan diskusinya, bukan di introduction. Setelah result and discussion, baru kita menulis metode dan literatur review. Lalu ke conclusion, baru ke introduction. Introduction adalah sesuatu yang ditulis terakhir kalinya. Itu kalau kami. Ya, kalau saya. Jadi introduction itu terakhir kali ditulis. Karena introduction adalah yang paling memungkinkan secara flexibility untuk bisa disesuaikan dengan hasil. Ya, jadi yang perlu ditulis pertama kali adalah resultnya dulu. Introduction menyesuaikan, literatur review bisa menyesuaikan. Kemudian yang perlu menjadi catatan, dan ini semacam tidak tertulis tapi menjadi sangat penting, itu adalah ketika di result and discussion, di result itu jangan ada reference. Karena hasil itu milik peneliti, jangan mereference. Tapi kalau discussion, wajib hukumnya mereference. Ya, kita harus merujuk pada artikel yang lain. Karena apa? Namanya diskusi, hasil temuan kita didiskusikan dengan temuan yang sudah ada. Maka di dalam discussion itu harus ada reference dari artikel yang lain. Tapi kalau dalam result itu tidak boleh ada. Ya, karena itu hasil kita. Kecuali reference itu merujuk pada data. Misalkan kpu.go.id, ya, atau media, it's okay. Tapi kalau itu kemudian penjelasan itu adanya di discussion. Maka result tidak ada reference, discussion wajib ada reference. Dan di discussion itu ada 5 paragraf tadi yang saya sebutkan. Di sana ada summary, ada refleksi, dan seterusnya. Ya, kalau lebih lanjut nanti bisa kita diskusikan. Karena ini cuma 10 menit ya. Ini trailer aja sih, kira-kira seperti itu. Nah, itu teman-teman. Kemudian untuk hasil result itu sebagai seorang akademisi kita tidak boleh bermain di temuan itu hanya 2. Temuan itu minimal 3. Ya, minimal 3. Temuan itu minimal 3. Karena kalau 2 itu tidak memenuhi unsur ketercukupan, ya. Jadi temuan itu harus ada. Misalkan faktor, ya, menemukannya 3. Faktor 1, faktor 2, faktor 3. Spektrum dari mulai yang paling kecil, menengah, atas. Jadi hindari 2 temuan atau dalam resultnya. Oke, Saya kira itu yang saya sampaikan ya, berkaitan dengan penulisan artikel. Untuk lebih lanjut nanti silahkan mungkin PPT-nya bisa di share ya. Ini ada beberapa hal yang misalkan sudah saya tuliskan, dan saya juga punya satu file yang isinya adalah mulai dari paragraf 1 sampai paragraf 33, itu isinya apa saja, dan itu bisa dituliskan sesuai dengan petunjuk yang sudah ada. Misalkan di fakta literatur, saya sering misalkan dengan teman-teman ketika misalkan menuliskan fakta sosial itu apa saja yang harus dituliskan. Dan itu adalah menjawab pertanyaan, kenapa Anda menulis soal ini? Itu adanya di fakta sosial. Lalu kemudian fakta sosial itu dikuatkan dengan fakta literatur untuk menunjukkan bahwa kecemasan kita itu sudah, kecuali Bapak Ibu memang punya kedekatan dengan chief editornya. Ya, kalau tidak, maka semua kemudahan yang ditawarkan oleh jurnal itu semuanya bohong, ya, kecuali dia memang predator. Karena kemarin saya ketemu dengan salah satu chief editor, dia mengatakan dia rate accepted di jurnalnya dia hanya 5% saja. Bayangkan, rate accepted-nya hanya 5%. Jadi dari 90, katakan dari 100 artikel yang diterima cuman 5. Ya, kalau bisa Bapak Ibu tiba-tiba diberikan, oh silahkan bayar sekian, nah itu udah pasti predator ya, atau kalau enggak cloningan biasanya. Maka perlu berhati. Maka mungkin di sini boleh diusulkan bagi Universitas Mercubuana yang kalau memang ingin mendorong publikasi internasional, mungkin ada baiknya sudah kita berlangganan Scopus, ya, sehingga kita nanti akan ada rilis setiap bulan, mana jurnal yang terindeks Scopus, mana yang sudah discontinue, dan seterusnya, dan kita juga bisa melihat itu semuanya. Meskipun harganya mahal, tapi memang itu yang harus dilakukan untuk kita bisa mendorong publikasi internasional. Terima kasih, selamat pagi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Oke, thank you so much Dr. Nastain. Menarik sekali Bapak Ibu tadi, sedikit berbeda dari presenter kita sebelumnya, namun ini sangat-sangat insightful. Mungkin Bapak Ibu setelah ini ada discussion after Prof. Ichal will presentation about materi today. So moving right to our keynote speaker today, but before we invite our speaker, I would like to invite our moderator who will guide our Baik, Bapak Ibu, sebelum kita beranjak ke Prof. Ichal Kim, mungkin ada Q&A dulu, sesi diskusi dengan para pemateri yang pertama sampai yang kelima tadi. Ada Dr. Diana dari Fakultas Ekonomi, ada Profesor Dwi dari Fakultas Agroindustri, ada Dr. Putri Takwa dari Fakultas Teknologi Informasi, ada Dr. Nastain dari Fakultas Ilmu Komunikasi dan Multimedia. Mungkin Bapak Ibu ada pertanyaan? Oh boleh Pak.
Ya, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nama saya Ari Purwanto dari FKIP, karena FKIP hari ini tidak bisa maju begitu ya, mempresentasikan, jadi saya tanya aja ya begitu ya. Saya itu jujur tertarik dengan apa yang disampaikan oleh Pak Nastain tadi, gitu ya, karena beliau menyatakan apa yang seharusnya ditulis dulu dari paper itu adalah hasil begitu, ya. Nah, judul dan hasil begitu, hasil ya Pak ya, seperti yang beliau sampaikan. Jadi dari pengalaman saya itu konsentrasi saya di statistik ya Pak ya. Jadi saya juga untuk saat ini ada di pojok statistik di IPB karena saya sedang mengambil program doktoral di IPB di dokter data IPB. Jadi di sana kami tuh banyak sekali ini Pak, apa ya, mendapatkan masalah-masalah baik dari teman-teman S2 ataupun S3 gitu. Nah, masalah yang paling krusial sebenarnya itu dari riset itu sebenarnya adalah di metodologi. Kebanyakan teman-teman itu metodologinya aja itu salah begitu Pak. Bagaimana kita mau menyampaikan hasil kalau metodologinya aja salah begitu? Kalau menurut Pak Nastain bagaimana itu?
Baik, terima kasih Pak Ari. Ini satu hal yang sebenarnya sudah sering ditanyakan ya bagi teman-teman. Karena begini, satu konsentrasi saya sosial humaniora. Ya, dan kemudian saya mengenalnya dengan metode itu ada kuantitatif dan kualitatif. Seringkali yang saya gunakan metode itu adalah metode kualitatif. Sehingga dia lebih fleksibel. Maka kalau tadi saya katakan bahwa di metodologi itu hadir sebelum kita collecting data. Tapi belum kita tulis. Tapi dia sudah kita lakukan sebelum kita mengambil data. Kan begitu? Tidak mungkin kita collecting data sebelum kita menyesuaikan, sebelum metodenya itu selesai. Sehingga sebenarnya metode itu sudah final, sudah selesai, cuma belum kita tuliskan saja. Ya, sehingga kita fokus pada analisis datanya dulu. Kita sajikan resultnya dulu. Tapi ketika kita collecting data, sudah kita lakukan. Maka kita tinggal menuliskannya saja. Jadi bukan berarti result, hasil itu mendahului metode, bukan. Tapi ketika disajikan di dalam artikel, itu disajikan resultnya dulu. Maka kalau saya boleh, ada spidol nggak sih ya? Ya. Ya, sedikit saja. Jadi kami itu sering membuat yang disebut dengan ada skema awal terlebih dahulu ketika menulis. Pertama itu dari title, misalkan dari judul dulu ya, dari judul, maka kami akan membuat judul, lalu ini kita breakdown menjadi keyword. Keyword ini nanti akan menjadi literatur review, seperti itu saja. Lalu metode ini kita tinggalkan dulu Bapak Ibu. Metode tidak perlu kita tulis, tapi ketika kita sudah collecting data, sudah melakukan collecting data, maka sebenarnya metodenya sudah selesai. Seperti ketika kita melaksanakan riset kuantitatif, ya, tidak mungkin kita menyebarkan kuesioner kalau metodenya belum final. Atau kita melakukan riset misalkan etnografi, misalkan gitu ya, atau kita bibliometrik misalkan. Pasti ketika collecting data, ini yang mendahuluinya ini sebenarnya adalah metode collecting datanya. Mulai dari kita menerapkan kata kunci, ya, kemudian dan sebagainya. Maka, nah dari collecting data baru kita masuk ke analisis ini. Mohon maaf ya Pak Ari ya, sedikit saja. Masuk ke analisis ini, maka nanti ini menjadi result. Nah ini yang kita sajikan terlebih dahulu ketika menulis. Harapannya adalah energi terbaik kita curahkan untuk menuliskan resultnya, untuk menuliskan hasilnya. Itu energi terbaiknya. Dan ketika kita sudah capai sisanya, barulah kita menulis introduction. Ini hanya salah satu metode saja. Jadi metode yang ada di saya ya, ada di IAS ya, Irwan Abdullah School. Jadi nanti teman-teman bisa cek ya, IAS ya, IAS Foundation itu mengajarkan seperti itu. Sehingga yang diterapkan adalah resultnya dulu. Sehingga metode yang sudah tadi kita lakukan dituliskan belakangan. Tapi kan sudah final dulu Pak Ari, gitu? Sudah selesai dulu metodenya ini, tinggal dituliskannya belakangan saja. Mekaten, ya. Jadi seperti itu kira-kira Bapak Ibu. Jadi nanti Pak Ari kita bisa diskusi, tapi saya juga menyadari bahwa untuk statistik, untuk sains mungkin tidak selamanya cocok. Tidak selamanya cocok, karena seringkali yang kami tuliskan ini adalah sosial humaniora. Ya, kami karena fokusnya di situ. Terima kasih Pak Ari, kurang lebihnya saya minta maaf.
Okay, Thank you so much, Mr. Arif, for your question, and also Dr. Nastain for the answer the question from Mr. Ari. So, any question again from all audience di Zoom? Ada yang bertanya, Mas Zoom? Belum ada? Belum ada. Okay, maybe we moving right to our keynote speaker today. But before I invite our keynote speaker, I would like to invite first our moderator who will guide our discussion this afternoon. So please welcome to Ms. Dewi Surna, SPC MPC Psycholog. Give applause to Ms. Dewi.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Dewi, and it is a great pleasure to welcome all of you to today's international guest lecture and workshop on publishing in Scopus, the critical role of publishing in a researcher's career. It is not just about getting recognition, but also about contributing to the advancement of knowledge, securing research funding, and shaping the direction of the future studies. However, as many of us have experiences, the journey to publishing in the reputable journals is filled with challenges, from manuscripts rejection and rigorous peer reviews to selecting the right journal and responding to the reviewers' feedback. This is why today's session is incredibly important. We are honored to have Professor Uchol Kim from Inha University, Korea, a distinguished scholar with extensive experience in academic publishing. His expertise will guide us in understanding the key strategies to successfully navigate the complex world of journal publication. Professor Uchol Kim is a highly respected researcher in psychology with numerous publications in high-impact journals. His research has shaped many fields, and he will share with us the essential steps and strategies to increase our chances of getting published in Scopus-Indexed and reputable journals. Without further ado, let us welcome Professor Uchol Kim to deliver his presentation. Professor Kim, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Yesterday, I received a rundown of today's events, but it was in Bahasa. So I had no idea what I was going to talk about today. I thought I was going to talk to psychology faculty, but I noticed there are agriculture, information technology, economics, communication, psychology, education. So I decided to change my presentation. I will not use my PowerPoint, but just have a conversation with you. You must be asking, why am I here? Sometimes I ask myself, why am I here? It's hot, it's humid, traffic in Jakarta is terrible. Why am I here? Because I see value in Indonesia, especially the people, not the leaders. I don't care much about your leaders. They're very corrupt. You know that, right? But I think Indonesia deserves better. I think Indonesia represents the future because you keep your own culture, and Islam is a tolerant Islam that I believe is a true Islam, because I wrote 2 books about Islam for your reference, about Iran and Malaysia, visited the Middle East. I don't think the Middle East represents true Islam, because if Prophet Muhammad came back to earth and I asked, which country represents true Islam? I think it would be Indonesia, not Saudi Arabia, not Iran, not the Middle East, because they're too full of anger and violence. Islam is a religion of peace. It's a way of life, and it's about spiritual connectedness. And this is what we find in our result. And as a result, it's very publishable. Okay? So I will take things backward. What is the most important thing about research. Not publishing. It's not publishing. It's not Scopus. I've never heard of Scopus until I came to Indonesia. It's created by a very greedy and destructive publisher called Elsevier. They used to make a lot of money publishing articles in medicine, and they charge a lot of money for publication. And many journals are disappearing because now you are able to publish in online journals, and a lot of the libraries are not subscribing to the journals. So there are emergences of a lot of predatory journals who publish what I call garbage and charge 25 million rupiah. And they take a journal that is very good and make it for profit, destroy it, and then go on to another journal. So one of my colleagues at UNPAD published an article, paid 25 million, the journal disappeared, and she cannot be a professor because that is not recognized. So it is very dangerous what the Southeast Asian government is doing. Scopus' journal is owned by a company for profit. And if you have to pay 10 million, 25 million per article, Indonesia will be bankrupt. Okay? If Indonesians were active in publishing, how many billions of rupiah do you need to pay? This is not academia. Academia is free exchange of ideas. Okay? And that's what we're based on. And because it's free, we have to be passionate about what we do. We have to care about what we do. It's not about publishing. Of course, if it's not recorded or written down, it'll disappear. Okay? So ideas are not permanent. And human beings were able to record it in art, in books, now in digitization, so our children can learn. Even if I die, my article will still continue. Of course, some of it is not very good, but still. And this is how we are different from animals. We're able to store information outside our body that children can learn and develop. That's the purpose of research. It's about passion. It's about believing in something that is important. If Quran was never written, Prophet Muhammad would not exist, right? Or even Hadith, right? It is written, and it is experienced by people who read it. Or the Bible, translated by Martin Luther into common language, into Korean also. So this is what we're doing, trying to share knowledge. The most important thing about research is citation, not publication. If your article is published in a high reputable journal and is never cited, it doesn't exist. Do you know 90% of articles published in high reputable journal are never cited? 90%. So let's say you spend 3 years of your life, publish your article in a high reputable journal, Scopus listed, SSA listed, and no one reads it and no one cites it. It doesn't exist. So I disagree with Scopus high reputable journal. It represents an inferiority complex of the Indonesian government. We don't have a way to evaluate good research. So we leave it up to a very predatory Elsevier or social science to define what is good. Can Elsevier define what is a good article? Best indicator is your impact value. It's called H-index. So I recommend everyone join ResearchGate. Until now, it's free. It's owned by a private company, but you can share information. So I decided to upload all my articles, and now I have a higher impact value because people in art, sports, music, they're citing my article. I said, why? Or even health, medicine, anthropology, because I do research on indigenous and cultural psychology. So you need high impact value. That means you need to publish. Now with Google Scholar, ResearchGate, it doesn't matter where I publish. I'm publishing one article from Brazil. Is that a nice title? Now, with education, look at all the big companies like Google, Pachai, NVIDIA, Jason Huang, Microsoft, Nadella. All the top CEOs are Asian because they were good students. We worked hard, and we are committed to learning. Why? Because of our parents. Because my parents told me to do two things, and two things only. Go to church and study. And that's what I did. I went to church, and I studied, and I became a professor. And the reason why I became a professor is because I was Asian. I could not find a date. No one liked the way I looked in Canada. I don't look Canadian. Do I look Canadian? Even though I can speak English better than Canadians, they did not accept me as Canadian. So when I was a graduate student, I had a girlfriend. Do you know her name, my girlfriend's name? I spent all my time with her. IBM. Her name is IBM. IBM, yes. I went to the computer room and analyzed data for 6 years. So I'm very good in data analysis because I had nothing to do. Okay? My first article published in 1984, 41 years ago, when I was an undergraduate student. My supervisor asked me to collect data. I collected data, and he included me in as one of the authors in a high reputable journal. I had no idea. The first article that I published, you know how many times I revised my article? 200 times. I could have killed my supervisor because he kept asking me to change it. But I'm very thankful because I learned how to write. And so writing is the most painful experience in my life. I just finished one article. It took me 1 month, and I almost died. My back hurts, my eyes is probably, I'm going blind. My brain is going crazy because I'm using my brain, a lot of my brain. And brain uses a lot of energy. And when you use a lot of energy, your body simply kind of goes crazy. Okay? But when I finish writing it down, I'm happy because I can take something inside in my brain and write it down. But I never read it again because it's so painful. Okay? I hate all my articles. It represents pain, but it contributes to the field, to what I believe in. Because psychology is not a science, it's an American ideology about biology, believing in biology, you're born that way, or believing in environment. So I do research criticizing American psychology, and I'm trying to develop an indigenous Indonesian psychology. Indonesians live the culture, but they don't know what it is. What is the difference between Javanese and Sundanese? One of my colleagues said, oh, Sundanese women are beautiful. Go to Bandung. I said, okay, I went to Bandung. I did not find any beautiful woman. It's a stereotype. Oh, Sundanese woman marry a Javanese for money and divorce him 10 years later. No, it doesn't work that way. So we collected data, and we found differences between Sundanese and Javanese. And so this is what I do. And the reason why I'm here is because even if I publish, it doesn't affect my career because I'm emeritus. I can do whatever I want. I have a fixed salary for the rest of my life. I can live 50 years longer and I still get my salary, but probably not 50 years. So I decided to come to Indonesia because people are wonderful here. Students are wonderful because they really want to learn. And they really want to participate in the academic community. And so I ask students, do you want to be happy? Do you want to be happy? Do you want to be healthy? Do you want to be successful? I'll tell you the 3 secrets based on research. 1, know yourself. Do you know yourself? Know your strength, what you're good at, know your weakness, and know your passion. What really makes you enthusiastic? Secondly, surround yourself with good people. Because most stress in life are betrayal, distrust, things that are unpredictable. Mainly people around me. I experience that a lot. You have to surround yourself with people who support you, who share the same value, who you can work together. Why? Because I have a strength. I can speak English, but I cannot speak Bahasa. I don't know Islam. I don't know Sundanese culture. I don't know Javanese culture. My colleague Yus is Sundanese. He was educated in an Islamic school. He knows a lot about Quran and Hadith, but he doesn't do any research on that. So he tells me story, then I say, write it down. So I'm including Hadith in terms of understanding the lifestyle of Muslims in Sunda area. It's a valuable resource there. So when I work with my colleague, my strength is emphasized because English is very comfortable. Statistics, I love it. And I can publish without any problem because I'm always invited to write articles. Isn't it nice when you're invited? This doesn't happen initially. It takes 30 years of contribution. And my weakness in terms of my knowledge of Indonesia, Bahasa, Islam is covered by my friend, okay? So we can publish together. And if you look at my publication, it's all co-authored with my colleagues, okay? Some I write in terms of a summary. So you have to find good people. But Indonesia is not full of only good people. There's some ugly people, abusive people. And so you have to separate yourself from those people, very greedy people, very exploitive. Third is you have to live in a good supportive community, okay? If the community is very destructive, stressful, then you cannot be happy. And it's called academic community. Do you have an academic community? So when I've been coming to Indonesia for 20 years, and I have this question, why do Indonesians eat together, spend a lot of time together, but they don't work together? Indonesian academics are the most individualistic animals in the world. They're very good, motivated, but they're not productive because they try to do everything alone. You can't do research alone, okay? And this is called autism. It's too inward. You have to understand people around you, you have to understand academic community, and you have to develop a relationship. So, you need to be cited. By whom? Who's going to cite your research? Do they know you? Do they trust you? You're from an Indonesian university that you cannot even pronounce, Mersabuana. Why would they cite your article from university? Unless they know you. This is what happened in the United States. They cite my article because they know me. They know my research and they see my track record. The beauty of having many articles, if they read one article and cite it, they read my other article and cite it, okay? So you have to develop a community. And in order for people to read and cite your article, what is the most important? What is one language that everyone can understand? So when I got this rundown in Bahasa, I had no idea. If I talk in Korean, you would have no idea what I'm talking about. There's one language that everyone can understand. What is it? Math, numbers. So the most important is your data, result. And you have to know how to present your result so people, hey, I can understand the data. Interesting data, but what does it mean? 2, theory. You need a good theory. Of course, we know planetary motion, but it's confusing. Why doesn't the moon fall to the ground? Okay? Why does the moon change shape where the sun doesn't? Have you ever wondered? Sun is the same shape. Moon, sometimes it's full moon, sometimes it's half moon, sometimes it's a quarter moon. If I go to Indonesia, the moon is hanging upside down. Why? So people began to analyze. And it was Kepler who organized planetary motion in 3 planetary laws. Remember in high school you learned 3 laws of planetary motion? You forgot? How can you forget? That it follows an ellipse. When it's close to the sun, it travels faster. When it's far away, it's slower. But the area that is covered in terms of time and distance is the same. You have to organize the data in a very simple way. But the question is, how do you explain it? Johannes Kepler could not explain it. Then Newton came along. One day he was in Cambridge, saw an apple fall to the ground, and discovered gravity. And he said, the center of the apple falls to the center of the earth. Not sideways, not ellipse. That means apple fall to the ground because earth attracts it, and actually earth moves. So whenever I jump, I'm moving the earth. Okay? And then we have an explanation. So you have to collect data, organize it, and explain it using the theory. But Indonesian data will be different. How do you explain it? You have to know your culture. Okay, not something that you experience, but are you Javanese? Are you Sundanese? I went to Medan in Batak. Those people are crazy. They drive like Koreans. There is a difference, right? Then I heard about Padang. Wow, wonderful food, but I heard men are bought by women. I said, wow, what am I worth? And they told me I'm worthless because I'm not a Muslim. I'm too old. Okay? So there's a difference. And so I'm interested in collecting data to understand what it means. So everybody talks about it, but no one does research about the difference. So you need to have good tables, 5 in typical article, because everyone understands number. Second, you need a good theory and a conceptual framework. Third, you have to write the introduction in terms of the context, because you're writing a love letter to the academic community. And this is what I found. But do they understand what you're writing about? Do you know your audience? Who will read your article? Do you know? If you don't know who you are writing to, why would they read it? What is your audience? Who is your audience? How do you know? You have to go to conferences and meet people, colleagues. They will be your reviewers. They might be your co-researcher. And they'll decide whether your article is read or not. And before I submit my article, I send it to several of my colleagues. Can you comment on my article? And they say, do this, do that, do that. And I submit it, and it is accepted. Because they're also the reviewer for the journal, right? But if you don't know them, how would you get them to comment on your article? Because they're not being paid, they're my friends, right? So the problem in Indonesia, you want to be academic, but you don't really know how the game is played, what the rules are. And the first 4 presentations gave you some information about that. But you have to create an academic community in Indonesia. Because in psychology, most of the students' research are hobbies. Okay? I'm interested in depression. I'm interested in a term called social battery. After the COVID-19, a lot of young people are afraid to go and talk to people. Okay? Well, you have to do research on that. And so I'm trying to work with 10 universities. First, I work with UGM. I call them the mafia because they dominate psychology all over Indonesia. All the lecturers are largely from UGM. And I thought that's not healthy to focus on just one university. And my colleague said, if you collaborate with UGM, you cannot collaborate with UNPAD, UI, other universities. Very, very localized. So I said, that doesn't really make sense. So now I'm working with at least 10 universities and working together in terms of publishing articles. Because first, you have to know how to analyze data. Second, you have to, the first person said, polish it in English. Indonesians cannot have fluent English because you don't know your audience. So I have a research assistant, American psychology major, who will proofread the articles. And of course, I will also read the article. Because if I cannot understand it, my colleagues cannot understand it. So first we need to do is understand publishing in Scopus journal is a hurdle, it's a barrier. It doesn't really make a difference. Why? Because it will not guarantee to have a community who will understand the value and cite it. So in Korea, we don't use Scopus, we use Social Science Citation Index, or Science Index, or Arts and Humanities Citation Index. Originally from Thomson Reuters, but now it's bought by a hedge fund. So what I used to get, Chinese, Koreans, we were paid $5,000 for publishing in one article in this journal. Now they got rid of it. Because publishing doesn't mean that you'll be cited. We get $400 for each citation. Okay? And probably in the future, rather than getting credited for publishing, you'll get credited for citation. And so in Indonesia, Minister of Education passed the rule that in order to become a professor, you have to publish in Scopus Q3. Okay? Almost impossible. Because if you don't have the academic community, why would they accept your paper? Why would they cite your paper? So, what is my goal? Create 10 journals and have a Scopus listed Q3 in 5 to 10 years. And Indonesians can cite one another, and you have high impact. So why do you follow the American way and be colonized? Why do you pay 25 million rupiah to these predatory journals and become poorer as a result? At a disadvantage. You have to create your own journal. So I've been trying to convince colleagues to launch your own international journal. I can help you. I did several. It's not that difficult. You create a title, and it cannot be in Bahasa Indonesia. You know, they ask me to review or submit. It's not sustainable. Don't create Indonesian journals. No one reads it. Even Indonesians will not read it and cite it. It's a waste of time. So get rid of it. But the Ministry of Education, you have to have Center 4, 3, 2, 1. Just one. All you need is Center 1, International Journal. Because academia is never local. It's all, okay? What is it? Is it good for your health? And everybody's watching K-pop and K-drama. It drives me crazy. Watching K-pop and K-drama. Indonesian cannot be 50 kilograms and light-skinned. You cannot look like Koreans. You have to develop your own culture. And Indonesia is rich in culture, diversity. And Islam is viewed in a very negative way. Why don't you do research in the positive aspects to educate the world that there are many good things about Islam in terms of finance, in terms of agriculture, halal, and in terms of technology. So Indonesians consume technology, but they don't develop technology. So can you look at the phenomena of what people call social battery? After the COVID-19, young people are afraid to meet people. They don't know how to communicate. Do research and help them to develop skills in communication. And you have a communication department, right? And if you can do this, young generation, Gen Zs around the world have the same problem. They're afraid of meeting people and they spend all their time here, okay? Everybody's walking around like a zombie like this. It's very dangerous. Addiction, smartphone addiction. So if Prophet Muhammad came back to earth today, he would ban smartphones like he bans drugs because you don't have time to pray. You're so focused When you're even praying, you're worried about the text that you will get. So, technology and communication, SNS, social media is very destructive. TikTok. Why? Artificial intelligence. Because the smartphone is doing everything for you and you're not using your brain. Smartphone will make you stupid, guaranteed. Make you isolated, lonely and depressed. So we need to do research. Are there better ways that we can use the technology? So in agriculture, in technology, in economics, communication, what can Indonesia have to offer to the rest of the world? Okay. And what information can you provide to show the world? And you know what is the biggest asset of Indonesia? You know why I come here? Not the food. I like Thai food better. Not the weather, it's too hot and humid. Not the transportation and infrastructure, it's still underdeveloped. In Korea, we have high-speed train that will take you anywhere in Korea in 2 hours. Not just one, we have several lines. We're now developing on 6G, okay? Korea is very wired and connected. But what's the problem with Korea? Koreans are depressed, lonely, higher suicide, divorce rate, no children. Last year, 200,000 more Koreans died than giving birth. What is your greatest asset in Indonesia? Happiness. I don't know why Indonesians are happy. Whenever I come here, I'm happy because Indonesians are happy. Especially when you're eating, people are very happy. People are very sociable. What is the secret to happiness in Indonesia? I discovered 3 things. 1, family. People support you. 2, friends. 3, religion. Praying, religiosity, promotes your efficacy, and you have higher subjective well-being. We found this result in structural equational modeling. And is it publishable? Yes, very much so. Because it will shock the Americans. And all the Muslims will say, yes, this is true. Well, if it's true, why didn't you do research? So, the reason I'm coming to Indonesia, because you have something very valuable. It's called happiness. You have communities. In Europe, in US, in Korea, there are no communities. It's all destroyed. Okay? You live in an apartment complex and you don't know one another. And you have strong families. Why? Because of Islam. Because tomorrow is the beginning of Ramadan, right? And unfortunately, people don't work during Ramadan, so I have to wait. And in the end, you have Eid al-Fitr. And last time I was here when you had Eid al-Adha. And my colleague said, don't come, because we have to go back to our hometown, spend time with our family, and we have to participate in religious ceremonies. And guess what I did? I came to observe. And everybody was in their own hometown, brothers and sisters, all the relatives, and they were eating like crazy. And of course, they bought a cow or a sheep and gave it to the people who were in need. What other country would do that? You still have a strong community. You have strong family. And I thought my colleague always takes care of his mother. I thought he was a wonderful son. I said, oh, you're a wonderful son. You're always taking care of your mother. And he told me, as a Muslim, if I don't take care of my mother, I don't go to heaven. Really? Okay. And your wife is very nice. She's always supportive of you. He said, oh, as a Muslim, if she doesn't take care of me, she doesn't go to heaven. Wow. What a wonderful way to live. So women are taken care of by the son, and men are taken care of by the wives. It's equal. So of course, you have to have a family and you have to have children. Because if you don't have children, then there's no one to take care of you. So these are wonderful aspects that is within Islam, and it is blended with Sundanese culture and Javanese culture. And I'm discovering the secrets to happiness, and one of them is religion or spirituality. Of course, you have very angry Muslim leaders who suggest violence, but they're not Muslim because Prophet Muhammad never advocated violence. He advocated peace and respect for life and human dignity. And that's what I saw in Quran, and that's what I see in Hadith. So those religious leaders are wrong. Read the Hadith, read the Quran. So this is what I'm doing. So why am I studying Islam, even though I'm a Christian raised in Korea studying Buddhism? Because there's something valuable. You have valuable culture. Then do research on that. It's highly publishable, highly citable. But you're colonized in terms of the academic system. You're forced to compete with your colleagues, with other universities. Indonesian universities do not cooperate with one another. UGM, UNPAD, UI do not collaborate. ITB, they do not collaborate. So you will always be backward. In the United States, they collaborate. Americans are very individualistic when it comes to life, but very collectivistic when it comes to research. Indonesians are very collectivistic in family, community, but very individualistic in terms of research. It doesn't make any sense. Wonderful people, but they're not able to work together because of the Western system, the Dutch system, and the American system that you adopted, and the American evaluation. No, it's not American. I taught at Hawaiian American University, and they don't care about Scopus, SSCI. They talk about your impact in the field. Okay? So problem is recorded, but I will say anyway, you have bad leaders. You have Minister of Education who has no idea what education is. I don't think he even have a PhD. So I would say, go back to your own company, go to, and make it work. You're losing money. But why are you imposing a very Western, it's not Western, actually it's German, standardized testing and standardized evaluation? Why don't you support academics and students like the support that you give? Okay, so Indonesian parents are very supportive of their children to do well in school. And a lot of students work hard because of their parents. But why is it that you have a very system in terms of university pressure to perform? I've been to another university where the rector said each lecturer has to publish one article a year. I said, he's crazy. And of course, the lecturers like me, but I was never invited back to the university. He's wrong. You don't pressure people to publish. You can only publish if you are really passionate about the topic. And if you are really devoted to that topic, because it is miserable. It is hard to publish. You work very hard and submit the article, and the colleague said you have to revise it 5 times. Because they don't understand the data, they don't understand the theory, but you have to do it anyways. And even if you publish, like myself, I don't ever want to write another article again. It's too difficult. But I end up. So what I did with my lecturers at UGM, we did a lot of studies together, and we were, can you imagine Indonesian lecturers working 10 hours a day for 2 weeks? It's possible. I gave them a lot of food, snacks, okay, and made it an interesting environment. And everybody learned, and most of them now become professors and lecturers. Do it together rather than making it miserable and so isolating. Use Indonesian culture to produce, like rice, you work together. So you need to work together with colleagues. And in psychology, it has to work with agriculture, economics, communication, because we're all dealing with people. We have to understand people. So help each faculty one another. Share information between psychology and medicine, psychology and communication. That is most interesting. And so that's the message I would like to tell the rector and the Minister of Education, you need to understand what academia is. Most of the rectors and Minister of Education were never educated in Western countries. They don't know what academia is. You have to understand. They've never taught in those universities or received millions of dollars in funding from those universities. You have to view lecturers and students as a resource, as an asset, and support them like parents support in the family, and figure out what makes them excited, what makes them work hard, and what makes them productive. This authoritarian top-down model is very oppressive. I see it in many Indonesian companies. I work with Mr. Suputra and learned about his biography. Of course, you produce results. Children hate him. And after he died, legacy will disappear. So, this is not Indonesian culture using authoritarianism or to produce productivity. Research should be fun. Work is not fun, but people you work with should be fun. So we have a lot of lunches, we have a lot of snacks, we have a lot of conversations, and I make a lot of jokes. Because research is one of the most difficult things in the world to do. I hate it. I hate writing, I hate publishing. But I do it anyways because this is something that I can do, and this is what I can contribute. So it is important that the university understands and supports this process. And you have to create a platform. You need a statistics lab. You need an English lab. And you need workshops on research, especially for the lecturers. And help them to develop topics like happiness that are really interested in learning. And they are willing to collaborate and cooperate. But students have to learn research is not a hobby. It's not something that interests you that you want to do. You have to connect to the academic community. So I'm hosting a conference in Bandung, August, bringing all students and lecturers and invite colleagues from US, Europe, and Asia to participate. And of course, we keep the student fee very low, and we give them free food, lunch, snacks, and so that they can participate. And we will help them to write the article, and by providing English proofreading, we'll have workshops before the conference so that they can practice the presentation, and I can give them feedback as to how to improve it. So, when you provide support, and when you provide the stimulation, I believe Indonesian students and lecturers will do very well. But the problem right now is I don't see the support. I don't see this kind of support, because I try to come here once every 3 months, and Bu Reni said, "You're too expensive. We cannot pay for your hotel, so please don't come." Okay, that's fine. I cannot get money from the rectors to support this because it's taking too long to have our publication. I understand. So you have to have a long-term perspective, and you have to help students and lecturers to publish by participating in research. Most important, you have to create a platform where lecturers and students can publish. And you have to cooperate with other faculties and explore possible ideas. And you have to work with other universities in Indonesia, and you have to work with other universities around the world. Countries like India, for example, who have the same problem, or countries in Asia. So this is my experience, and I'm sorry, I'm very critical of the leaders, not only in Indonesia, in Korea. Now we have a coup d'etat and the president is in jail, and Korea, you know, is a mess, right? But it's the people who's keeping the country together. Okay? In the same way, the problem in Indonesia, you have bad leaders. I'm sorry. They're colonized, and they're acting just like the colonizers. There's too much corruption, and it's very hard to do the right thing. So I hope within Mercer Buana, you can create an oasis, like a mecca, where you can do research, where you can collaborate, and where you can discover your own culture and also your strength. So I cannot teach you techniques. I cannot teach you fast track because it's not sustainable. So first you have to understand what is your strength and what is your passion. Second, work with people who have different strengths, who can cover your weakness. So when you work in a group, there is no weakness because each person covers the weakness of other. Third, create a scientific community in Indonesia where you share information and where you cite each other's work by launching many international journals. All the journals that you created, I'm sorry, is totally useless if it's in Bahasa Indonesia. Who would read it? Indonesians would not read it and cite it. So go directly to English, okay? And publish. And what I do is I help my colleagues from Europe and USA to serve in the editorial board. And I have ways that you can be Scopus listed within 5 years. In Q3 in 10 years. It's not that difficult. It involves getting your colleagues from abroad to participate and to support. And how do you do it? You invite them to a conference. And when they give a keynote address, they have to submit an article to your journal. And they have to support research here. And when they're here, feed them a lot of good food. Be nice to them so that they want to come back. Okay? And this is what you do. Rather than taking 100 Indonesian students to abroad, it's too expensive. Bring them here. Everybody wants to come to Indonesia because of the people and the food, and they want to help to contribute. And Indonesia is a blue ocean. There's not much research done about Indonesia. No one knows Indonesia. They think Bali is a different country. And so, if you publish introducing Indonesian culture, Islam, and way of life, a lot of people will be interested. And they'll cite your work because you're very unknown. But if you try to imitate Western models and saying Indonesians are the same, why would they cite your work? They would rather cite work that are familiar. So research is long-term, and it's not a hobby. And you cannot do it by yourself. You need to work together. And you need to share resources because Indonesia is not a rich country. And by pooling the resources, you can become an advanced country. And this is what happened in Korea. Korea was poorer than Indonesia, but we cooperated, we worked together, and we created a platform, especially in technology. And I believe Indonesia can do the same thing. So I'll stop here and take any question that you may have.
Please give a big applause for Prof. Uchol Kim. Thank you very much, Professor Uchol Kim, for your enlightening sharing and presentation. Maybe you can be seated, yes. Bagaimana Bapak Ibu? Gelitik ya. We will proceed to the question and answer and also the discussion session. Bapak Ibu yang mau bertanya di ruangan ini boleh please raise your hand and kindly introduce yourself, and also from our faculty members who are joined in the Zoom, you can also give your question, write it down in the comment chat. Berapa menit Bapak Daniel? 20 menit cukup. We have 20 for question session.
Thank you, Ms. Moderator. Prof. Kim, I heard that you say you had to write an article, and then how become you be a professor? Because in Indonesia, to be a professor, we must have many publication in Scopus, like for example. And then how about in your country, and how can you get a professor in because you said that you don't like to write an article. Thank you.
I'm Korean and a little bit of Buddhist. I spend more time doing what I hate than what I enjoy. So writing an article is very difficult. And it takes a lot of involvement. So when I'm writing my article, my children, my wife cannot talk to me. I'm in another world. No one can bother me. And it has to be perfect environment, 25 degrees, no noise, perfect desk, perfect chair. So I'm completely absorbed in my world. And so sometimes I forget to eat. After 8 hours, I'm hungry, and I discovered it's night already. So it is very intensive. So of course, I will give this example. You might know Renoir. He draws beautiful paintings, and he had arthritis, and his hands were twisted. And whenever he tries to paint, it would cause him a lot of pain. So his student, Monet, said, "Why do you continue to paint, even though it's very painful?" He said, "Pain subsides, but beauty lasts." So once he paints, he is able to draw beautiful paintings. And so he can appreciate what he painted. So writing is very difficult because ideas are rolling in my head. And there's a lot of data. And I have to take this and put it on paper. And so I am happy because all these confusion is now on paper. Okay, it's not rolling in my head. So I get it out of my head and put it on paper. So this is something that I appreciate, being able to take something inside and put it on paper. Right now, what I'm doing is writing article with my colleagues. Why? Because I want to promote research in Indonesia. Of course, it's painful. It's like women would understand. Giving birth to a child for 9 months is very painful, right? But once the baby is born, you're very happy. They make you happy because you can support them and you can help them grow. So the process is painful, but the fact that I can contribute to the scientific community and contribute to research in Indonesia, it makes me happy. Because what else can I do now? Because I have a lot of time. I have nothing to do. So should I watch television? It's boring. Should I play golf? I don't like golf. So what do I know how to do? Is to do research and publish. Okay? So what is stressful is for me to relax and do nothing. Okay, so it's relative. So I travel 3 months in a row, and it's very tiring. But still, it's much better than sitting home and doing nothing. And also coming to Indonesia, working with my colleagues, and collaborating in research papers together is a very interesting. And it's also a discovery process. I did not discover the positive aspect of Islam. I only saw negative aspects because I looked at the political Islam about human rights and democracy. But in Indonesia, I discovered the positive aspects. Like I say, why do you pray 5 times? Isn't it a waste of time? Why do you spend 1 month fasting? Isn't that a waste of time? Or I just pray just once, okay? Isn't it more efficient? Then I discover mindfulness, meditation, reduce stress, increases awareness, and increases focus, and it produces serotonin that makes you happy. So it is a discovery that is fascinating. So no pain, no gain. If you're an athlete, in order to run 42.29 kilometers, it is painful. But when you reach the finish line, or when you go to the top of a mountain, it's a feeling that you cannot compare to anything else. So if people believe research is painless or easy, no, it is painful. And it never gets easy. All you have to do is ask a marathon runner. Probably Ramadan is painful and it's never easy. But once you go through it, then you feel refreshed and you feel connected spiritually. It's like taking all the garbage from your body and your mind. And so that's why you do it. So research is difficult. Probably writing is the most difficult thing, and I have to revise it. The first article 200 times. Now I usually revise it 50 times. Okay? The problem with my own article, I always find errors and spelling mistakes and every time I read it. And so the final version, when I read it, I almost throw up because I have to keep reading it over and over again. It drives me crazy. But the pain subside and the beauty lasts. So that's why I do it, even though no one pays me, because I don't have to publish anything and I can have the full salary. But it's the joy of working together and putting ideas into paper, and the joy of discovery, and joy of working together in colleagues who are struggling and who cannot publish because their English is not good or because their statistics are not skilled enough. But they have a lot of insight. My colleague has a lot of insight about Islam. And I asked him, why don't you put it down? He can't. So I help him to write it down. And he's very happy, oh, that's what I wanted to say. And so we can share kind of what you call the joy. And so now he's very excited about research. And his weakness is writing it in English. He couldn't. And so he has wealth of knowledge, but he was not able to do so. So that's what I do. No pain, no gain. Because when I was lifting weights, he said, no pain, no gain. Okay? So in order to do research, you have to go through the pain in order to understand and feel enlightened in the end. So if you just want to seek happiness and no pain, don't do research. Don't become a professor. It's not easy because you're always pressured and you always need to publish. Thank you.
Is there any more question? Okay, from Pak Daniel.
Thank you. Prof. Kim, I would like to ask, in the era of AI right now, it's sometimes difficult for us to identify students' work which are written with AI and which they wrote themselves. So what's going to be your suggestions for our leader in university, I mean not only in UMBY but also in all institutions regarding to this case? Because I'm afraid if we have these situations for a long time, then it's similar to it's like to letting go of negativity and corruption culture to our society in education field. And the second one is that, well, sometimes we find it hard to get our work cited, and I believe that one of the problem is due to our carelessness in choosing the research gap. So what he suggests to us, the junior researcher like me, on how to build or choose the right research problem, research gap, as other professor here just mentioned. Okay, thank you so much, Professor.
So what is your area?
Where I'm on English education. My focus is on educational technology, especially on chatbots.
Especially on?
Chatbots for reducing speaking anxiety.
Okay, let me tell you about an experience I had last semester. I teach cultural psychology online, and one thing is I don't have tests, because in life there are no tests. Students submit report based on what they have learned, and I give quizzes. So students from the Middle East capture the answer and share it with all the other students. And they have perfect scores on the quiz, which is impossible because I made it difficult. Second thing is they submitted a report, and all the reports were identical. And I failed all of them. And they have to write it in English, and it was in perfect English. No one speaks perfect English, okay? And the third thing I had to do is you write the report just based on the lecture videos and interviews, because they would bring information from the outside using internet, and a lot of the information were incorrect. So now it is becoming more difficult to teach because the reports are all AI generated. So one of them is GPT-0. If they use AI, you can find a software that would detect AI. And I tell students, if you use AI, I have a detector, and you get F automatically. And I'm brutal about this. And students say, oh, I'm sorry, I need a scholarship, I need to pass. I'm sorry. If you cheat, you fail. The purpose of learning, what is learning? We are born with 100 billion brain cells. And when we experience, when we learn, the brain cells get connected. The more we use the same experience, it gets connected, it becomes faster. So if you play football, piano, or write, the more you write, more efficient it becomes. Okay? So if you use AI, you're not using your brain. You're giving a command, and the computer is generating all this information. So what you produce has nothing to do with what you have learned. It is very destructive. And smartphones are problematic in that way. And so we spend more time in our smartphone, and I tell students, be careful, it will make you stupid. You will rely on this too much. And you are just passive recipient of information. Put it down, play sports, play music, and feel the emotion and the joy of the experience. Of course, I travel a lot, and one of the things I do is I don't like to eat alone, so I put on kind of what we call mukbang. Koreans, they're eating a lot, and I'm eating with them. Okay, so this is what happened when you spend the time alone. So there are software that you can use to check. So now in class, I have them make presentations, okay, and I make them work together as a group, and I make them select a company to do a case study. So I create a situation in which I'm supporting their learning experience, and I tell them, you will not learn much from me. You have to learn from one another. You have to work together in a group, and you present together. And I give feedback. I don't give them grades. I give feedback as a grade and ways to improve. And when they have questions about their final report, I give them feedback. So you can always get a good grade if you want to, and I'll give you feedback as to how you can get a good grade. Because the purpose of education is for students to learn, not for me to teach. Okay? So I can teach, but if they don't learn, that's not the purpose. So I try to create an environment that they can experience and they can learn. And so since I teach in English, I have a lot of international students from Europe, US, Asia. And I force them to work with students from different countries. So I have a lot of group work where they talk to one another. Why? Because students might be good in writing, but may be bad in presenting. Another students might be good in technology, but not very good in understanding. So if you group these students together, my weakness is covered by my friend's strength. And we learn more from each other than from education. So the problem with current system, we try to educate children. It doesn't work. We have to support their learning process. Okay? And so the evaluation should not be standardized based on what they learned. So this is one of the problems, and everybody's learning to use AI. I don't use AI at all because I would not use my brain. And so I do not encourage my students to use AI. There are universities in Korea, United States that teach people how to use AI. Of course, in companies, it's useful because you can reduce the bureaucracy, but not in universities. So what I do is make them present, make them write report based on their presentation. Okay, and then I have a strict policy. If you use AI, I will detect it and it's automatic F. Okay, so it's a taboo. In terms of gaps of research, you said you are in, I forgot, first background, English education? I'm sorry, English education is one of the worst areas because when we educate children, they don't learn English. English is learned by using it, not through education. And using technology, it doesn't help. The problem of learning English in Indonesia, you have to talk to an American or British, someone who is a native speaker, because the meaning of the word is in the use of the word, not the grammar. Korean students know the grammar, Japanese students know the grammar, but they cannot speak English. English professors in Korea cannot speak English. They cannot write English. And why are they teaching English? So probably one of the worst education, I'm sorry, education, Koreans spend a lot of time learning. The best way to learn English is to have a friend, where you practice, where you eat together. However, nevertheless, you have to teach them. I used to be a teacher in Berlitz. The best English program is in Berlitz, where they force you to learn a language without thinking. Okay? So language is learned without thinking. But when you force students to think, then it's no longer language. Because when you're having a conversation, it has to come out automatically. You cannot think about the translation, and you cannot think about the right word. So I can speak French, but I learn grammar. So when I have to talk to another French man, I have to think about what is the verb, what is the to form, what is the vous form, and he's gone. So in terms of research publication, probably what I would suggest is what would be the best way to learn English in terms of performance for Indonesian. Okay? Maybe try different style. I think the best way to teach English is help them to make presentations in English. And in class, only English. However, the problem with language is there's an area called Broca's area, and that is responsible for language. And that develops, makes all the connection by the age of 10. By the time you become 18 years old, that area is blocked. And so what they have to do, you have to bypass. And so it's like a highway, super highway by a bypass, which is very slow. And so what you have to do is stop the speaking of Indonesia and speak only English. So when you learn English in the classroom, once you step out, everybody speaks Bahasa. So everything disappears very quickly. So this is one of the area that is very difficult. And English education in Korea and Japan is a complete failure because they taught grammar. So you don't teach children how to use a computer by showing them manual, right? Children just play around with it. They just press button and they learn it through experience. Same thing, language has to be learned through experience. So one of the ways you can do research is take different ways of teaching English and find out which is the most successful in terms of their English speaking ability. That's one problem, one process. And so who would be the best teacher of English? Not native English speakers. There's an assumption native English speakers would be a better teacher. No. So the best way children learn is not from parents. Parents believe they are educating the children. No, they don't learn from parents. Not language, not values. They learn from each other. So all you have to do is raise one child very well, and that child will teach siblings, okay, well. So probably the strategy I would have is teach one student and help him teach other students. And this is called modeling. Children learn through modeling more effectively than by experience. So this is a theory of Albert Bandura. Children learn by observing and participating. So what you need to do in modeling is have one student who's good, very good, and help him to teach the rest of the class, okay? And so you have a high-level speaker teach the middle level, and the middle level will teach the lower level, okay? And so the modeling technique probably would be the best. Adults are terrible educators, terrible socializer of children. Children learn in spite of the parents. So parents believe, I'm teaching my children. No, you're not. Children don't understand what you're talking about. They learn in spite of the parents. And they figure out what to do. And so they never do what you tell them. They do something else. So other children teach them. A good example, you try to feed them kimchi and they hate it. They never eat it at home, but when they visit their friends, they eat it. Okay? Have you had that phenomenon? They would never eat vegetables, and someday they visit a friend, and his friend's family eat vegetable, and suddenly he eats vegetables. So that is a possible technique, using modeling as a technique for teaching English. That's one possibility.
And that brings us to conclusion of today's session, because also we have a Friday prayer now, Professor. We have learned so much from Professor Uchol Kim, a no-pain, no-gain process, yes, on writing articles and publishing journals. And we are now pleased to announce that the Dean of Psychology, Ibu Reni Yuniasanti, Magister Psikologi, PhD Psikolog, will be presenting certificates of appreciation to our distinguished speakers today, Professor Uchol Kim. Please welcome Bu Reni. She's already here, Prof. Mohon Bu Yuli bisa mendampingi. Berdua Bu. Yes, terima kasih.
Typographical error in decision in 16 February. And my challenge in this publication is this is scooping article, so I read 20 and 16 journal to scientists and make conclusion for this article. Maybe that's all my sharing about my publication in Zero APC in Taylor and Francis publication. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kiki, the closing presenter. She talked about the journey of the first Scopus journal that she published and published it last February, right? Okay, thank you so much again for Kiki. So the next awarding certificate for the presenter today by Mr. Daniel. So I will invite first Dr. Diana Aryawati, SAMAC, to come here. Mr. Daniel will give certificate Okay, please give applause for Miss Diana. And next, Dr. Putri Takwa ST, MT, MC, MCF. Please come here, Bu Putri. Thank you so much, Miss Putri. And next, from Sciences Multimedia, Dr. M. Nastain Estos, EM Ecom. Please come here, Dr. Nastain, for session, photo session. Smile. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Nastain. And last, for Prof. Dwi. Prof. Dwi. Maybe siapa? Ada yang mewakili? Nanti aja. Thank you, Mr. Daniel. Oh yes. Okay, and last but not least, Miss Kiki, please come here. Oh my God. Thank you, Miss Kiki. Okay, thank you, Sir Daniel. And the last for our moderator, please come here, Miss Dewi. Thank you, Miss Dewi. Sambut, Pak. Ladies and gentlemen, finally come to the closing of this event. Thank you for coming and joining us for the rest of this event. I would like to say thank you to all the audience and also supporting team of this event. Hopefully, this program will be beneficial for UMBA, especially for the lecture or their research and also publication. Of all of us who participate from shares of even with the current extraordinary things that happen. Let us learn everything well and see you next time. I'm Azam. It was a pleasure to be with you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.